As a reminder, if you have a direct question for me, please use @Mateo311 down in the chat when asking. And if you want to help support this channel, go click the thumbs up right now. Now the stream will be starting soon, but in the meantime, enjoy the montage. Hello everybody and welcome back. The live stream is about to begin momentarily, and soon I'll start answering all of your questions about VR. I've had my VR YouTube channel up for over 5 years now, and for the past 2, VR has become my full-time gig. I'm experiencing new virtual reality games every single day, and I of course love checking out the latest hardware. So if you have any questions at all... What's up everybody? You know that whole live stream part where it says, hey, enjoy the montage? Montage? Words are hard. There's supposed to be a montage there. I've been trying to work on it forever, but it's supposed to, hey, the intro's coming, blah, blah, blah. The intro runs once, and then you just see a longer montage. That would make more sense, right? Yep, I think it would. Anyway, how you guys doing? You guys living the dream just like me? You know, I just want to let you guys know that a nightmare is still a dream. But what's up? Let's see who's already in the chat, who's chilling with me nice and early. Let's see what's going on. Afternoon, my man. What's up? We got Dr. Bag coming in, teasing me. Thank you. Yes, we do need to discuss the state of VR. We got Terry here. Salvador, what's up? ZF, what's going on, man? Chris and Q Creator, what's up, dude? Always very supportive. Thank you. Thank you, my man. How we living? We all doing good? So, as you guys know, if it's your first time here, if you're new here, whatever the case may be, I just hang out with you guys. I answer questions about VR, and I tell you what's going on. And today, I am freaking exhausted because so much is going on. I need a sound off. You guys are too quiet. What the hell is going on? Is my chat not updating? What's up? Go. Everyone spam the chat right now. Oh, my chat just popped. I'm looking good as always. Thank you for coming and hitting on me. I need it, Chris. I need my ego boosted constantly. Speaking of looking good, I'm going to take my sweatshirt off because I'm hot. There we go. I just got a haircut. This is not how I normally do my hair, but that's how she does my hair. It's all good. I have not played Hitman, dude. They didn't give out any early keys. I think I just got a key. And I am swamped. Like, not only did I just get back from GDC, trying to get to a position where I don't look ridiculous. I just got back from GDC. I have a lot going on in my household. I'm doing like a lot of renovation type stuff. Also, I haven't slept because my kids keep keeping me up. They keep waking me up. And I'm just working on there's like 4 projects I can't talk about right now because they're all super secret. NDA, yada yada, something something, yada yada, something something. My buddy messaged me, and he was quite funny. It's quite funny. So, yes, auto camera. That the auto camera is a blessing and a curse. It is fantastic for like VR gaming. I can't tell you how many times I've walked off screen while you're filming, and then like you check your footage later and it's just absolutely ruined. So having a camera that keeps you centered is nice, but you know. Yes, do it slowly. Chris, don't come here and be a freak. Keep that shit at home, all right? I don't care if you're a freak in the bedroom or with your wife or your husband or whatever's going on. You could be a freak. Good on you. Just keep that shit at home, all right? Kevin, what's going on? That's a name I haven't seen before. Thanks for joining. And Waleed, what's up? Thank you for popping in too. And Dread, what's going on, guys? Okay. Have you got back to modded games yet after your upgrade? Yeah. I've pretty much exclusively on PC been playing modded Fallout 4. Like, I've been playing the shit out of it to whatever I can handle in my life right now, but I've been playing a lot of it. I'm trying to add the Matella mod in so I could use that so I could actually talk to the NPCs so that everyone in my house can think I'm absolutely crazy, because that's what I want in life. But no, I've been trying to add that, but that one, I don't know. There's no no one has a really good tutorial. Like, it's just all over the place, the tutorials, and there's different ways to set it up, and You could actually make the language system local, or you could pay for a language system that it reaches out to the internet for. And I messaged Genghis, and Genghis is amazing, and she's really good with that stuff, but she's also quirky as fuck. And I think her heart isn't in it to help little old me right now. Okay, Dan, what's going on? Hey, Mateo, can't stay, but wanted to say hi. Hi. You'll listen tomorrow? Thanks, dude. Always appreciated. Let's see. Came late from Upload VR. I've never been like really big one for Upload VR. And nothing against them. It's just like some things you just kind of gravitate to. And but I was talking to some people from Upload VR at GDC, and the passion's there, so it's always great. Kevin, I'm glad you're here, dude. Glad you're here. But you guys are pretty quiet today. Maybe it's because I took a week off, or maybe even 2 weeks off because of GDC. I don't know if I streamed before I left. And let's get those questions coming in. What do you guys want to hear about? What are you guys interested in? There's a lot going on with VR that I can discuss, and there's a lot more that I can't discuss. I mean, God, there were so many VR developers at PAX. Sim, what's going on? There were so many VR developers at GDC, not PAX. PAX is the next event I'm going to. And like I said in my videos, there's like a lot of frustration with Meta because Meta kind of screwed them with the storefront. If you don't know what happened with the storefront, the search was broken for a while. So like someone would come and search for a game and you can't find it. And then after that, the issue, GeForce always coming in throwing me money. Ridiculous, man. I love you. Thank you for the support. Saw the title and had to comment. State of VR is incredible. Got the True Gear vest and it's great. Love the Cat VR 2. About to get the Omni 1. That's a lot. Why do you need the Cat VR and the Omni 1? I mean, you just like burning money at this point. My True Gear is around this corner where that camera is right now. It's on the other side. And I'm going to be doing a video on True Gear soon. I'm going to zap the shit out of myself. And I'm also going to be doing more stuff with B Haptics. And I point to the floor. It's actually, I just charged the headset. It's on the floor right now. But I met B Haptics shout out to B Haptics, met them at GDC, and they were cool. I mean, they were really awesome. It's the first time I used the gloves. I've used everything else they own. The first time I used the gloves, and I was surprised. The gloves are awesome. Like, the gloves have a ton of sensation. The thing is just, my hand gestures, I've turned off the camera tracking. The issue with the gloves is there's not enough, like, game support. You know, like, what do you really need them for? There's not enough hand track stuff. Speaking of tracking, hey, track this means track me. Camera. It doesn't want to track me. There we go. There we go. Technology, man. Speaking of technology, I also jumped into one of those Waymos, the self-driving car. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram or TikTok. Actually, I just posted a short on it on YouTube. The short's up. I jumped into one of those Waymos. Holy crap, that is an interesting experience. If you're not familiar with Waymo, it's a self-driving car. Unlike Tesla, I can't get comfortable. Unlike Tesla, that uses all cameras now for their tracking, which I'm not going to get into any sort of Tesla discussion right now. Don't get me started. But they use a lot. They use cameras and LiDAR. LiDAR is a laser system, so they always know the distance of everything around them, and they don't really need to do camera interpretation constantly to say, like, what is that? They just constantly know what the distance of everything around them is. And I will say the Waymos are Jaguars, nice cars, super clean, super nice inside. And it was smooth as hell. It was like way smoother than any taxi I've ever been in, especially a taxi in New York City. You got in, played some happy music, told you what it was going to do. The display tells you like, hey, right now we're just waiting for pedestrians in the crossway. Once they leave, we'll pull out. And it's wild. So the shit impressed me. But yes, it is a much better system. Vroom, vroom. And where we live, first time I live here. Jack, I'm a little lost, but okay. Let's see. VR treadmills are great. So I was not a fan of the VR treadmill because, like, I'll tell you, dude, like, Skyrim, could you imagine, like, how much walking you do in Skyrim? And then you're like, oh, I'm going to walk that now, while I play games. I'm too tired as it is for VR, and then we're going to get into like, oh, and also walk 12 miles when you play your video game. I'm good. I'm too old for that shit. See the grays? They're there. The grays are there. Sim, that's pretty funny. Yes. Hi, your Waymo is about to murder you. We're going to drive off a cliff. Stay tuned. Boo, 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 boo. No, there's a lot of things that make you feel safe too. Like you could at any time just like click pull over and report it or talk to someone live. They say they're not listening 24/7, but I don't know. I X the doubt. Not live to live, but live. Live. Hee hee. You're cute, bro. Okay. Thanks. Anyone who tells me he's cute, I'm just going to say thank you. I'm going to blush a little bit. I got manhandled a little bit at GDC. A lot of people like, hey, how you doing, Mateo? And like a little bit of, And let me tell you, I don't mind. I'm old, so I don't go out very often. I don't meet people anymore. I don't do it. So, a little tiny ego boost goes a long way. Hey, what's going on, Garrett? Yes, you caught me live and in the flesh. My meat suit. I'm wearing my meat suit. Do you know we are all just brains remote piloting a bone skeleton covered in meat armor? Just stop and think about that. All right. Can you give your thoughts on LCD? This is a great topic. Okay. Can you give your thoughts on LCD with local dimming and how it compares to Quest 3 LCD? Rumors saying that Deckard may include LCD. I'm going to get a little controversial here. I don't know why I'm a little stuffy. Apologies. Dude, what's going on? Why we giving out money? I'm going to butcher your name. Backsorn? Yeah, I nailed it. Backsorn. What's up, man? Thanks for the support. Guys, you don't have to donate to give me an answer questions. Just at Mateo311. But I do this for a living, so I appreciate your support. I always feel weird when people like throw money at me on live. I guess you appreciate what I'm doing, but I appreciate you guys just as much. All right, back to the LCD question. Then I'll get to the Roto VR. I have one over there. We could talk about it. I will get back to your statement. I promise. So I prefer LCD in VR to the current generation of OLED. Like my two biggest OLED issue headsets that I've used were both the Big Screen Beyond and the PlayStation VR 2. Now the PlayStation VR 2 is fine. It's not as bad as the Big Screen Beyond, but we deal with high persistence OLED. What happens is, and this is why the big screen's way worse. In order to get a bright image, you have to drive the panel pretty high. And when you drive the panel high, the pixels take a while to kind of like just fully dim out, and you get this ghosting effect. And on the Big Screen Beyond, if you turn it all the way up the brightness, like crank it, because my first response was, Jesus Christ, this is a dim screen. You crank it, it'll make you nauseous. That's how bad the ghosting is. Now the PlayStation VR 2 isn't bad, and some of the issue is also reprojection. Now you also have the same type of ghosting with the Apple Vision Pro, which bothers me. It's amazing for watching movies and stuff. The screen is fantastic, but if you're playing a high-speed game and you start throwing your head around, you get this ghosting, and it throws me out of it more than the not blacks that you'll get on an LCD. So if you give me an LCD with local dimming, I would take it over today's OLED panels. Because when you combine an OLED with a pancake lens, pancake blocks 90% of the light. So you need a panel that's pretty bright. So this is where you run into the issue. And that's why it's not as bad on the PlayStation, because the PlayStation uses old school Fresnel lens. And that's probably why they made that decision. So trying to get that information out as fast as possible. I hope that made sense. So that's where we're at. So if they use local dimming LCD, I'm fine with it. And people said, the index blacks are so washed out, but go play Half-Life Alyx on an index and tell me the blacks don't look black. Whatever they did, they figured it out, and the blacks look black. Most other games, not as well, but they figured it out with Half-Life Alyx. So I'm fine if that's what they go with. All right, boom, catching up. Roto VR looks amazing. Also super stoked for Postal 2 VR. I actually met the guys for Postal 2 VR at GDC, but very briefly. We were both going up to talk to to VR Studios, and we just ran into each other. One of the guys is an old, and I was gonna say a term that I would use, but he's an old school Italian guy. You can imagine what word I would have used, but it's probably not PC anymore. But anyway, old school Italian guy. I took one look at him. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you look like half my uncles. I said that straight to him. I'm like, where you from? New York City, Italian. He's like, let me guess, the Italian side of your family. I'm like, exactly. So he was really cool. And then the other guy working on the project, they seemed like a cool team, but didn't talk to them enough to actually really know. I'm curious about that. I don't know. We got the issue of it's an older game. Is that type of like slapstick humor going to hold up? Kind of like Bulletstorm didn't work for everybody. It was like too juvenile. So I don't know if that's going to work, and I don't know how well the port will be, but we'll see. And RotoVR is really cool, but for what you get, it's too expensive. I personally love mine. I think it's awesome. It's just really hard to recommend because it's expensive. All right, catching up, guys. Again, keep those questions coming at Mateo311. I will answer you at top speed like this until I'm exhausted. VR Tech, what up, man? Thanks for joining. Same thing, code, what up? Let's see. Yo, Matt, I'm curious if you have any info at all on the Valve deckard. I will tell you what I can tell you. The Valve deckard is 2,000% real. It is an actual physical product, and it is only a matter of when, not if. You could, like, everyone saying it's still in leak rumor territory. They don't know anything. It's a real product. It's coming. And if I had more information, I wouldn't give it to you. So, because, listen, a product of that scale is going to have a major marketing campaign behind it. Valve wants to show it off in the best light. They want to, show off all their footage, talk about the specs on their own terms. There's probably a shit ton of people working on making that launch magical. And for some schmuck on the internet, if I was just to come out and be like, hey guys, yeah, I got a picture of it, or I snapped a photo of it, and here are all the specs, and here's the... F me, man. They would be pissed at me. Maybe I'd get like a bump in followers or something, but it's not even like, I don't care about that. I don't want the bump in followers. I'm in the industry because I love the industry. So I'm not looking to hurt the consumers. I'm not looking to hurt the developers. I'm not looking to hurt the manufacturers, anyone. I want everyone happy, playing nice, everyone getting what they want. So I can't tell you much, but I can tell you, I think we'll get an announcement in the next few months. And we should see it by the end of the year. I'm very confident on those two things. But that's all I can say. Now, see, the math guy, you said Bulletstorm for Xbox was awesome, but that's when you played it back on Xbox. You go 10 plus years into the future and play it in this generation on VR, and did it age well is what I'm talking about. And that's my concern when it comes to Postal 2. Did it age well? Let's see. And what's up, buddy? The math guy. I'm actually heading to New York, right? Yeah. That's Eddie, right? I can't see your profile pic, but I'm pretty sure that's Eddie right there. That's my boy. I'm heading to New York next week. Another super secret VR project. I'm going to be there for 2 days. Can't talk about it, but I could talk about it in 2 weeks. So nothing insanely major, but something I'm excited about, VR related. That's all I can say. And while I'm down there, I'm such a geek. I'm going to the 20-sided tavern to see Devora Wild. That's the voice of Lae'zel in Baldur's Gate 3. So the math guy, my buddy John, is going to meet me there. And we're going to go be geeks and watch like live action D&D. Yes, that's the type of geek I am. Let's see. Always comes down to money. A lot of things come down to money, which I found out a lot more about this week at GDC. I can't tell you how many developers I talked to. Like, developers from... It's probably easier for me to name games rather than the studios, because you guys know the games. But we'll go Underdogs, Winlands, the B-Haptics crew, Ancient Dungeon, Triangle Factory, which is Breachers and Hyperdash, Ghost of Tabor, they were there too, Animal Company, Gorilla Tag, you name it, like everyone was there. If I can name that many off the top of my head, You know, just think how many were actually there. Beyond Frames was there, so you know, a publisher, so they, you know, they have a lot of games under their umbrella. It was wild. Elysium. So you talk to all of them. You hear their struggles. You hear about where their money is, how they struggle to get money to produce their game. You know, where it goes wrong, where like Meta kind of jerks them around, and it's easy to make Meta the bad guy. They're the good guy and the bad guy. You know, because they have too much control of the industry right now, which allows them to be the bad guy. And you can't blame them. It's just capitalism. Like to say, like to nickel and dime developers. Well, the department that's in charge of like making these deals, it's in their best interest, like an insurance agency, to, you know, give the person the worst deal possible, the deal that works in their benefit. That's just freaking capitalism. So I'm not trying to make them out to be the bad guys, but, you know, it sucks for them. To hear where Meta throws money around, like they just opened up $50 million for Horizon Worlds, where everyone's scratching their head, like we don't get it. And then at the same time, to hear, you know, a developer who has a very solid title get nickel and dimed, you want to cry. But that's not it's not an exclusively on Meta thing. You know, it's not like Zuckerberg knows every deal that's being made, or they just want their department to perform well. And in capitalistic terms, money talks. End the story. All right, moving on. Again, guys, sometimes the chat gets too fast for me. Right now, it's not moving that fast, but I'm long-winded. So right now, the chat's pretty good, but if it is speeding up, just make sure to use that Mateo301, or I'm definitely going to miss your question. I would love to go to one of these conferences, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. Is there any possibility that we could attend in a VR as drones and proxies? That'd be cool. Sometimes like these events actually have like a VR counterpart to them. And actually, Arlen, I just gave away 5 keys to PAX East, and PAX has always been very nice to me. You know, they give me keys every year. So in the future, we'll make that happen. Okay. You think the Big Screen Beyond 2 might get a third-party upgrade to make it wireless? So the guys who did, remind me, the Valve Index wireless adapter that I shit on constantly. I can't remember the name right now because I don't get enough sleep. That is the Schmergen. We'll call it the Schmergen until my brain kicks back in. That adapter, I heard rumors that they're trying to get it to work for the Big Screen Beyond, but that's rumor territory. Someone who works with them said that they kind of had like a working prototype, but in my experience, that adapter was just pure shit and never gave me a good experience. So I don't have high hopes there. Let's see. When are we going to get a full sports game? Really? I don't know, man. Like, so you say like 11 versus 11. I mean, the closest thing you get is something like Orion Drift, which is actually more than 11 versus 11. That is, you know, it's like 75 people on a server, and I think they want to go to 120. And they do have like sports games in there, but they're like, it's really hard to do a one-to-one translation of a sports game in VR. If you got to run around, where are you going to run around? You're going to smash into walls. If you got to say, okay, we got to go out to an actual field, well, Meta doesn't want you using your headset outside, so they're really not going to promote that. And then how many people can actually do that? It's not viable. It's, you know, so then there's no money in it. And all right. I have not tried the Onward update. I got back from GDC Saturday, and I've been nonstop working since. I haven't played a game. I haven't done anything besides work. I'm playing catch up, and my wife's going away this weekend. I don't see me getting into anything really. And like I said, I got 4 secret projects going on. I know you guys don't like when I say her name. Hold on. Okay? I'm respecting you guys. You'll get mad when I talk about the A digital assistant, that chick back there. I don't know. So when I say her name, some people get uppity. So I'm respecting that. Okay, guys? I don't know. My train of thought's gone. I didn't play Onward. I didn't play anything. One of the secret projects I'm working on is extremely interesting, and I'll be able to talk about it like in a month from now. It's really cool stuff. It's just not super game oriented, but it's really good for the VR industry. Did Triangle Factory show off Forefront? No, we talked about it very, very briefly in terms of like, the game looks awesome. Yeah, we're really excited about it. We think it's going to be great. There's a lot of potential here. Yeah, damn right. There's a lot of potential. And then I always go into, you know, Hyperdash was one of my favorite VR shooters of all time. They're like, yeah, Hyperdash is still our baby. We're still getting like 150,000 concurrent users, you know, monthly, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, it's still like, it's not great or anything, but it's still very much alive and doing okay for us. So that's great to hear. Have you tried free aim VR? Free aim VR shoes? No. Let's see. I'm just catching up a little bit. Nofio. Thank you. Nofio was the adapter. Thank you, guys. I saw you selling it on eBay a while back. Yeah, I did sell it on eBay. I really did. And I kind of hate selling stuff on eBay because, one, you can find out it's me. But regardless of that, like, in most cases, someone was kind enough to sell me the to give me the hardware. And like I said, I wasn't a big fan of it. But in open communication, when people like message me and they say, "Hey, how did it work for you?" I'm 100% honest. Like, I said, like, it could have been interference in my house. It could have been whatever the hell. There's a billion Wi-Fi signals in this house. There's literally, and I know some people that said, "Oh, after the firmware update, it's much better and stuff," but it never really worked well for me. Let's see. Playing catch up. Yeah. Well, sometimes I play mustard too. Blown away by Hitman. Yeah, I heard good things. I'll tell you, Alexa. The girl comment got me. But I heard good things about Hitman. I'll get into it when I get into it. I just look at me. Look at this is more than just 40 man in his 40s with 2 kids. This going on right now. I need a nap. I tried out Orion Drift the other day, and what I like the most is the arena setup style. So you can have a live audience and experience. I mean, that the social aspect of VR is very underrated. Anytime, I'll throw your jokes right back at you. Yeah, I saw Beardo tested it, and I think GT. GT got a little early access preview. There's been a lot going on. Yeah, I'm playing catch up and Max Mustard. The Max Mustard story sucks. The fact that Toast Interactive had to pull their games. Can I talk about that? No, I can't. I did meet Richie though. Richie's Plank Experience, Toast Interactive, head of the company. So I've met Richie on 2 occasions now. Excellent guy, super nice, and he's Australian, and I'm below average height. So when I stand next to him, it's almost as bad as the comments people had when I was standing next to Skiva. However, Skiva is 6'5" or possibly taller. Skiva is a freaking behemoth of a man. He was actually Frankenstein's first experiment, Dr. Frankenstein's first experiment. I'm convinced of that. I mean, he is so freakishly tall. The first time I met him was in his apartment, and his head was like 2 inches from the ceiling. So it was crazy. Like, he would be like down here, he would be like very, very close to the ceiling because I only have 7-foot ceilings. So just imagine. I'll give you guys, look, I'll give you a sample. Skiva. That's how big that boy is. So there was a clip of us, I'm playing RoboQuest, and he's there like talking me through. Oh, come on. I'm sorry, guys. Someone's ringing my doorbell. I'll be right back. Hey, guys. I apparently had to take a break. I don't know what it is. Maybe I had to go to the bathroom. Maybe my doorbell rang. Maybe the dog's barking. It's one of those things. I'm sorry. I promise I'll be back soon. I'm sure I'm going to put something really entertaining on the screen to occupy you guys while I'm gone. Or even better, maybe go ahead and open up a second window and check out one of my latest videos while you're waiting for my return. Isn't this way better than standard hold music? So thanks for your patience, guys, and I promise I'll be back soon. I'm sure something extremely important must have come up. Hey guys, I apparently had to take a break. I don't know what it is. Maybe I had to go to the bathroom. Maybe my doorbell rang. Maybe. Hey guys, I apparently had to take a break. That's an excuse for me to show you one-arm push-ups and funny clips. All right, I'm back. Ran upstairs. Okay, let's see. How we doing? What other chances of deckard causing other headsets to drop in price? No. Unlikely. It's just like the market doesn't really work that way right now. I mean, the Quest definitely won't drop in price. It's already subsidized or like right around break-even territory. And they're not directly competing with each other, so no. Have you seen Hard Bullet VR? Yep, they're getting close to Quest 3 release. Yep, that's in my news for Monday. That's on the agenda. Oh, I need a RoboCop, and you need a new UEVR profile for that. I just haven't been jumping into UEVR because if I can't just like jump into a game and enjoy it immediately, or if I'm in a game and then I get stuck because like some trigger or something doesn't work or controls don't work, I just get frustrated. I don't have time for it right now. You like the intermission? Boom. It's the new Deckard in the mail. That's why I ran so fast, guys. The Deckard was here. I ran up to get my Deckard. Yeah, here it is. I swear this is totally not a Quest 3 with a Kiwi strap on it. I swear it's a Deckard. All right, let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up on what the not overpriced gimmick, but enthusiast grade hardware. Yeah, I mean, the Deckard is good. So the Deckard's gonna like be a combination of the Steam Deck meets a new age VR headset. That's like, because obviously they make their money from selling games and flat games, but I think Valve still has a love for VR, and they know there's a community for VR gamers, and they want to support it. And Valve doesn't release things until they got like something new and exciting. Like they break out in a direction that exceeds everyone else. Now, will they hit on, all cylinders? Will they be successful? I don't know. I think they will. The Valve Index was my favorite headset for the longest of time out of the 17 or 18 I've owned. I mean, and if we turn, there's about 5 headsets in the background right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 over there. There's 1 in my hand. The PlayStation's over here. Those are the ones that like I started giving away headsets. People would message me and be like, "Hey Matt, what headset could I get?" And I gave one buddy a Pico 3, another buddy a Pico 4. Someone else got my Rift S. I'm just like, just check it out, But yeah, Hard Bullet I'm interested in. Let's see. So I'm trying to catch up on the conversation there with Lexman Brother, but it's too much for me to read and keep up. Skiva is ginormous. Getting back to Skiva. All right, let's see. Quick question. You have any news at all? Sorry, I can't read apparently. You have any news at all on any of the new games like Memoriam, The Living Remain, etc., etc.? Memoriam, I played it, but I played it at GDC. Memoriam looked really cool and I was excited for it. I don't have any new information that I can think of. The Living Remain is supposed to be releasing right around the corner. It should be out this week, I think. Isn't it supposed to be out today? I really enjoyed The Living Remain. I played it on PCVR. I was quite surprised. That is a husband and wife team that did that game. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like when I played it, I said, this is the best single player zombie campaign I've played since Resident Evil 2 in VR. So is it as good as Resident Evil 2? No. I mean, that was a major AAA game back in the day that got ported, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It impressed me. Just tried Hitman. It's pretty jank. Jesus. I love the VR community because it's all over the place. Let's see. How was the frame rate difference between Big Screen Beyond? I haven't tried the Big Screen Beyond 2 yet. Only the original Big Screen Beyond. 75 versus 120. 75 is too low in my opinion. I mean, the Rift S used to run at 80, which was okay, but you could feel like it's just not right. 120 is an amazing sweet spot. Like 120, if you could, most people can't hit it. But 120 just feels butter smooth. 90 is nice. That's all I can really comment on. That little run upstairs took the life out of me. Old man. I got some other comments on the side here. Just keeping track of as much as I could. I have so much going on that I don't want to miss anything. So, how many delays should Wanderer get? Has it been delayed enough? Do we need another Wanderer delay? Because, nah, it's definitely coming. Let's see. My Quest 3 is having an issue where the B100 batteries aren't keeping it charged. They were keeping a positive charge until V74. I mean, it could be a V74 issue. It could just be the, coincidental. Time-wise, the batteries are decaying a little bit. It could be Meta doing back-end shenanigans where they only want, first-party people using, creating elite shops for them. I hope that's not the case. You never know, though. 69 more. Nice. I gotta look into the settings though, because I feel like there's a decent delay between me rambling and you guys in the chat still. So I gotta work on that. I do have I got the much more better internets. I got 7 gig up and down. I'm not pushing it hard at all. And we haven't dropped a frame ever since I upgraded. We haven't dropped a frame, nothing. It's been amazing. So, we could push settings higher and do some nicer stuff for the future. Where did that come from? How did I get on that subject? I run my index on the 4080 and the max refresh rate. So the reason why I never ran my index at 144 hertz was for recording purposes. So I'm going to record at 60 frames per second, and then you get a frame timing issue. So if you're rendering at 144, recording at 60, you sometimes run into a little frame timing issue with your recording. So that's why I never. But if you're running at 120 and you record at 60, you're just chopping it directly in half. Make sense? It makes sense. Any news you can talk about as far as new mixed reality board games? A good question. I mean, we know that Battlemarked, which is Resolution Games' version of D&D, is coming. It's like a collaboration between Resolution Games and Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro to make an official licensed Dungeons & Dragons graphics game. They just recently put out a little update video. They usually put it out on like Shorts and Instagram, and I love the design. Like, they showed off some of the kobolds. They said like, we had to take a lot of like our existing design structure and change it up. We want them to feel like the actual pieces that you would, play with. So we have to make the characters a little bit more chunky, change their size around, their dimensions. I actually think the bases for the pieces in Demio are like hex rather than circular too. Not that it matters, but so they said like we had to change a lot of our design, and I saw the series of kobolds and they look freaking awesome. So I'm excited for that. And honestly, I was like, shit, I need an excuse to go to Sweden. Like, cause my sister-in-law is Swedish. So I told my brother, I'm like, can you get me an excuse to go to Sweden so that I could go knock on Resolution Games store and be like, please let me in. Hey, Takamike, which is thanks a lot, I think. Cause I know like 4 Swedish words. Ja, förstås svenska. Yeah. Okay. In the spirit of Half-Life Alex, 5 years installing and playing it for the first time. I gotta say, man, Half-Life Alex is amazing. It's amazing. Cool whip. Whipped cream or cool whip? Whip. Why are you putting so much emphasis like that on that whip? What? Cool whip. I'm not a whipped cream or Cool Whip fan. I don't know what it is. I like almost all food in the world, and something about both of those products kind of just turns me off. Unless I'm lathering it on the right person, it's not for me. How sick would GTA 6 be with VR support? It'd be about as sick as me getting a toilet bowl made out of solid gold, or at least as practical. It ain't happening. It's not in the cards, but it would be sick. It would be ridiculously sick. If you want something to binge, Cobra Kai all seasons. I have watched Cobra Kai, my man. I have watched Cobra Kai, and it is awesome. I grew up with Daniel LaRusso, And he's a Jersey boy, which I find so funny, and it was just like I could relate to it because I grew up right next to Jersey. It was a great movie. I can't believe like how like well it like held up and stuff. And then Cobra Kai, when I started watching it, I'm like, this is so cheesy. And then you're like, it just gets its hooks in you, and I'm like, this is a karate soap opera. It's like I'm watching a karate soap opera. This is amazing. And that boy does not age. Ralph Macchio is what, 60 something? That boy does not age. Good on him. Let's see. Let's go. Get to Sweden, man, for Midsummer. That'd be sick. We don't need the sun to go down. Are you planning on getting the big screen Beyond 2 or the Megan X? I'm trying to get both. I mean, I reached out to Big Screen and I spoke to them, and they said, we would love to send you a headset that you can show off. We think you're going to be impressed with it, all the improvements, but our priority is consumers right now. So to shell out what is probably going to end up being like $1,200 out of pocket right now, it's tough. Because I got all that YouTuber money. So it's a lot. I mean, I know I talk about I have 17 headsets, I have this, I have that. It's still a lot. And I wasn't the biggest fan of the original Big Screen. I do not know why I cannot get comfortable in my chair today. I need to change my setup. Like I need a camera over here, and then I can lean back a little bit more. But my monitors are so freaking big, I can't fit a camera here anymore. I would love to show you guys. Maybe I have some. No, I don't think I have. So let's see. That's the other part of the room. Nope, I don't have anything. So that's like this is another product in the works here. This is my arcade setup. There's my Roto VR, but you can see the place is a mess right now and the lights off. Hold on. I will mute. So I muted. So the lady whose name I said, didn't trigger anyone else's. But yeah, so that's where I play D&D and stuff. And there's a projector on the ceiling. So that white square projects down our game board. But it's in a state of flux and mess right now. And you can see in the corner, I have some D&D figures. You can see my D&D figures. And let's say D&D figures. Oh, we'll fix this. But yeah, so that's that. But I was looking to see the camera behind me is not working because of the wire in the wall issue. So if you see, there's a camera right there, and that camera would be able to show you, my workspace, which I like to show off because it's nice. Okay, scrolling back up to see what I missed. As a current Quest 3 standalone VR owner, what rough minimum specs would you recommend to delve into PCVR to future-proof for a few years? Future-proof. I don't mind standalone, but I'm partially tempted. Okay, so the thing is, there's not a lot of like new games coming out on PCVR, so you don't really need to future-proof too much. But if you were to get, I don't know, like I don't do a lot of testing in this area right now, so I don't want to give you shit information. And lately, I just try and go as high end as I can afford. But if you get anything like, a roughly modern CPU, within the last 2 generations of Intel or AMD, and you throw something like a 4060 Ti, you're going to run anything like badass. Just make sure your Wi-Fi is up to snuff, because gaming over the damn cable still uses compression. So even if you decide you're going to use a Quest 3 with a cable, it's hit or miss. It's not great. It still uses USB compression, and it's not great. I've actually had better experiences, believe it or not, with Wi-Fi. So having a good Wi-Fi 6E, Wi-Fi 7, or Wi-Fi 6 solid setup, having your PC wired into the network, stuff like that, that goes a long way. That helps, because all that shit can ruin the experience no matter how good your PC is. Okay. Let's see Arlen being a broken record. I know I'm a broken record on this subject, but I really want to see classic board games. Don't we all? I've talked about it. I want D&D and I want Warhammer, but Games Workshop will never do Warhammer. They they just won't. I mean, they're so anti making their board game digital, and I understand why, because they just like, they have physical crack like Magic the Gathering. It's just like they have a product that people are going to spend a bajillion dollars on, and you're going to buy $50 for a unit this big. It's hard to replicate that on the digital scale, and if you attempt it to, people won't buy into it. And then the other aspect is they don't want to kill their board game market, because people will be like, well, we could buy it digital and it's a quarter of the price. So it is what it is. It's so funny, Corey. Hitman, 10 out of 10. PSVR 2 has another masterpiece. I'm hearing, I'm hearing good things, but I'm also hearing some bad things. Do you remember your worst IT experience? Oh, yeah. The most annoying consistent issue you had. Annoying and consistent that I've tried to delete. So it's like there are some bugs that were just so effing hard to track down. I mean, I had one scenario where someone faxed like documentation to the wrong company. And not only did I have to find out how they did it, where they did it, and then the person lied and said they didn't do it, I had to prove to a group of people that they did it. That was not fun. That was pretty annoying. But probably the most like harrowing experience I had is I had a building almost burned down. By the time I left IT, my company had like 40,000 people in it. And all of our buildings, like all over the world. We weren't just US. We're in like a crap ton of countries. Basically all of our buildings, at least from the company that I was from that got acquired, we were standardized. And I happened to be in one building that one aspect wasn't standardized. And that was the cooling system in our UPS room, so our big battery backup room. And the cooling system died like on a Friday night. And now we did have a security person who walked the building and checked for things, but they must have not did their job. So basically the cooling system died and the room kept getting hotter and hotter, and there was no backup, and the batteries went into thermal runaway. So one battery gets too hot, freaks out, dumps all its energy into the next battery, which causes that battery to go into thermal runaway, and so on and so forth. And eventually you basically just have an explosion waiting to occur. The batteries are going to get so hot, they're going to light on fire, and you'll just make steam. Like if the sprinklers go off, it's not putting them out, it's just making steam. So it got very close to that. And I came in on a Monday morning, the building, this was a 20-floor building. The building smelled like sulfur. I get up to my floor, alarms are going off. I like kick in the door. It is like 130 degrees in the room. I call up the people like, this is what's going on. They're like, yeah, you're going to have to shut down the system, and you have to go and get one of these special fire extinguishers. And I'm like, well, there's a sprinkler system in their room. They're like, that won't do shit. Like, you got to go get this code, yada, yada, fire extinguisher. And if you see anything, just stop blasting. He's like, you see a spark, stop blasting. So I'm sitting in that room pretty much just sucking it all in, getting cancer, waiting for an explosion until people got there and started dismantling the system. So yeah, how was your day? All right. That was a rough one. By the way, guys, haven't mentioned it yet today. Streamlabs is in the chat. They post this link. This is something that I'm going to recommend to you guys. So every time there's like some cool VR deals, game deals, stuff like that, I update this spreadsheet. Hasn't got a lot of updates lately because not too much is going on, but it's also a way you guys can support me while getting stuff that you want. Some of these are affiliate links. Some of them are just sales and discounts. So I recommend everyone gives that a click if you're looking for a game. I haven't been doing a great job of updating my friends links, the meta friend link where you just get, discount for being my friend, but I'm doing my best. Look at me, I'm dying. All right. The state of VR sucks compared to PC gaming. So I put together a 15-minute video, and I'm going to be either dropping tomorrow morning or Saturday. 15-minute video talking more about the GDC stuff I said, talking about the state of the industry, the developers' frustration with Meta, the changes coming to meta, supposed changes coming to meta, the potential for the deckard, the other players that are entering the market. So it starts off, and it also starts off with a really nice nuanced topic about how games like Half-Life Alyx, Batman Arkham Shadow, and Asgard's Wrath 2 were actually not good for the industry. Amazing effing games. You know, some of the best that VR has to offer. But there is a negative component. There's a very positive component. Half-Life Alyx got a ton of people into VR, and so did Batman, and, you know, definitely helped sell Quest 3S's. And Asgard's Wrath 2 helped sell Quest 3's. So there's definitely a positive aspect, but I'm going to be talking about the other side that people don't look at too much, about how negative and why they were negative for the industry. So you're going to have to tune in tomorrow for that video, for that exclusive knowledge. Do you know if your arcade is compatible with, so Pinball FX. I don't know if I think I'm allowed to talk about it. Yes, it will be. It does have side panels. It will be, and they sent me a key to try it out. Did I get around to it? No. But if you want one of those arcades, guys, I do have a discount link for that too, right there. One of those. See, if you see Ranvis right on the side, dude, it's a mess in that area. But if you look right on the side, my mouse doesn't show, but you know, to the right hand side where the D&D poster is, that corner, you can kind of see the paddle right there. Ta-da! Recovery after GDC can be tough. Yeah. No, it's just like in general. I came home, and the day I came home, I got home at 12:30 in the morning, and then my daughter woke me up at 6 a.m. And my daughter woke me up at 6 a.m. and my wife was working on a 24. So I went right from traveling for an entire day to 5 hours of sleep to being alone with my kids for 24 hours. And it just hasn't calmed down since then. You know, my wife was on 24 yesterday also. I took my kids waking up in the middle of the night and just crawling to bed. It's just been nuts. So like the convention slowed me down, but then I have to catch up on my work. And then on top of that, life just has been crazy. And I have this really good but bad quality of when I'm like, all right, I can't work anymore, I go do physical labor. Like, because I just need to clear my head. So like yesterday, I was just like getting everything ready for, I have like a dumpster coming. So I got a lot of crap in my house I need to get rid of. So like, I was like throwing around old furniture and stuff yesterday. And there's like a big pile of shit on the side of my house that's going to get picked up tomorrow. So just like, so how does that give me energy? No, I like want to drop and die right now. You enjoyed the vid at the convention. It felt different in a good way. You know something? I'm glad you say that. I rewatched it and I was like, all right, this has a different tempo, a different kind of cadence. It's more real. My voice was out. I'm sure you guys heard. I was like, and then I checked out this and I tried a game called Exo Shock. So yeah, my voice was out, which always happens every time I go away. But I think that's why my voice has changed so much from when I started the channel to now. I just feel like I'm wrecking my vocal cords over time. Regardless, I don't shut up. But it was different. And that, you want to know? I put that video together in 15 minutes. I'm not going to lie. I literally, since I'm on the press pass for GDC, I said, can I have an interview room? And they said, yep, take an interview room. It was still kind of loud in the interview room. So I took my sweatshirt like a tent and just went under it with my microphone and just, you know, tried to enunciate as much as I could with my voice being out. Blasted through the video, sent the audio to my editor with some notes, and that was it. And I was very proud because I was so busy at GDC. Let's see. Have you ever seen a game with ray tracing in VR? I know it's crazy demanding on your PC, but is it possible with DLSS? I'm looking at the new Half-Life. So I think, I mean, I don't know if the mod for Half-Life 2 will work with the ray traced version, but I would see it running fine. Ray tracing can be extremely demanding, yes. But like a game like Half-Life, which is so old and well optimized, I think it's very possible. Like, it's very possible. I'm not informed enough about to say, hey, yeah, go try this ray traced VR experience. I don't know. Okay. So in my experience, I think VR, MR are going to be the next communication device. Well, that's what Meta is hoping. And I could elaborate on that. As internet, mobile phone, smartphone. Yeah. Okay. So I have a pair of Ray-Ban glasses. I got them from Meta a long time ago. And I really I was like, I'm not going to enjoy these. And I love my Ray-Ban Meta glasses. Now, functionality wise, they could have more, but just little things like I'm traveling in Germany when I went to Gamescom. So I'm using them for communication with everyone else. A text message comes in. I don't have to constantly keep taking out my phone and replying to people. Text message comes in being like, hey, we're at blah, blah, blah right now. Do you want to meet us at Gamescom? Yeah. And then I go, hey, Meta. And I say, hey, Meta, respond. And I, do voice to text and I respond. So that's convenient. But I also have it running Google Maps. But I mean, yes, it's running from my phone, but I also have it running Google Maps. So it's telling me how to walk around and navigate this foreign country I've never been to. I could also stop and look at a sign in Germany and say, hey, Meta, what does this sign mean in English? And it translates it for me. So it's extremely convenient. And as the technology grows, it's going to be incredible. So even if it requires a phone and you're going to need like tandem operation, it's going to be incredible. There's so much potential there. Like, you ever go to a bar and it's a little bit like too crowded and you can't hear people? Just imagine if everyone has Meta glasses on and you could just go look at someone and say, hey, Meta, start one-way communication. Those glasses have the bone conductive speaker. People next to you, you could be pumping the volume loud and people barely hear what's coming out of it. So you could be in a bar and just start a one-way communication and still have that nice, beautiful, dialogue where people see your face and your mannerisms, but they can actually hear you in a bar. And I know this is an old man problem, but I mean, I would love that. So the potential is insane. All right. Again, guys, if you got questions, there's a lot of chatter right now. I'm not reading through all of it. If you got questions, at Mateo311. Otherwise, if something catches my eye, I will, You should do a vid on the Meta glasses. I'll wait for a new version and I'll do it, but I'm not going to do one now because they are 2 years old. Mine will be 2 years old in September is when I first experienced them. Meta better stop forcing games exclusives on their crap system. This is a comment like that comes out of, and I don't mean this rude, I mean this with the utmost respect. A comment like that comes out of ignorance to how the industry works. Meta is funding those games. They funded the Batman, the Asgard's Wrath 2. They fund a lot of first-party games. They're already taking a loss. The numbers I heard of what Batman cost are insane, and they will never recoup that. Just like Half-Life Alyx is broke even level. So they're not going to recoup the money. Why would they say, okay, let's not recoup? Not only are we not going to recoup the money, but let's help other platforms. Let's give some of that money away to somebody else type of deal. It's just, but at the same time, Meta only wants to grow that platform, their platform too. And you could say, well, that's selfish and that's not good for the VR industry, but that's business. That's just business. That's why we have anti-monopoly laws, because everyone wants a monopoly. Everyone, as far as capitalism, that is ideal. When people have nowhere else to go, you can charge whatever you want. So exclusives have always been a part of the industry. And as much as you hate them, I really like the fact that they do get these studios to push boundaries. Now, the gaming industry is in this weird, crazy, insane, unsustainable flux, and that's not just VR. That's the gaming industry in general. But that's why you got products like Gears of War, God of War, Halo, The Last of Us. Some of the best games ever made are these studios saying, we got to come out with exclusives to show people why we're awesome. So it's pros and cons. There you go. 9 years of VR ranked will be sometime in April, whenever I can get around to it. God, that's a video that's going to take me like, a video like that takes me, it takes me a good few days, like full days of working, and I don't have the energy for it right now. But yeah, 9 years of VR ranked will come out. I had to drop it down to just the top 100 games because I used to do like everything in my library. My library is like God knows how many games now, so it's insane. Mateo, would you recommend the big screen too? I can't say yet, man. If I get one, I'll give you my honest opinion of it. I was not the biggest fan of the original, but it sounds like they've improved or fixed the vast majority of the issues with the original. And I'll tell you, yeah, combining an OLED with a pancake lens, no, you end up with a very dull screen. And if you push up the brightness, you run into persistence issues, and you get a ghosting effect, and it's horrible. So that was a pretty bad issue for me. The IPD, like the fact that you needed to get an IPD adjustment and it was off for so many people, and that you needed a face scan, my face scan didn't match right. So like those were things that were just not sustainable. Unless they had like pop-up buildings like all over the world where you could walk in, they scan your face and they hand you the device. It's just like, this is not practical in so many levels. So like they resolved those issues. And then the other issue was whatever was going on with their lens, there was a really, really horrible clarity drop off. And it looked like fixed foveated rendering. Like honestly, right in the middle, you had this insanely high resolution. But if you wanted to read something on the corner of the screen or the bottom of the screen, you would have to look down, because in the bottom of the screen would be really blurry. It'd be like extremely blurry, blurry, slightly blurry, clear as can be. And that's what they looked like. And it looked like there was always fixed foveated rendering on them. It was rough. That was one of the biggest issues for me. Let's see. Yeah, and I'm hoping, Beef Monkey, I hope you're right. I hope all that stuff is addressed. So we'll see. We'll see when, a lot of them are out and about. Let's see. Yes, the meta glasses can be user meta better, not go free to play. I know Batman cost a lot. I'm a graphics whore. Well, if you're a graphics whore, yeah, MetaQuest is just not for you. Or like games like Batman with less graphics. We need more IPs. I'm ready. Okay, I'll get into that. So right now, actually, Meta is really interested in IP deals. What I've heard, they want developers working on IP deals. The problem is you now have to pay money to the IP. You now have to pay money for Meta, and everyone in the VR industry is, they're indie developers, the vast majority. Even the studios that have been around for a while. To make your game, you always got to get money from somewhere. Like you can't have a staff of people working for a year without pay. So you got to get money up front from a publisher or Meta or someone. But now you just owe so many people. You owe a publisher, you owe the IP, you owe Meta. Meta's going to take 30% of your sales. The risk versus reward is just so low that a lot of developers aren't willing to take it. So they say, listen, we want to keep making games. We want to make the title we want. Everyone wants to make the next Half-Life Alyx, but it's not practical. So they say, well, we also want to stay alive, and we want to keep our developers in business, and we want to keep our studio open. So where can we make money? Where can we guarantee some more profits? Or where is Meta willing to invest with us? And that's why you see developers going into Horizon World, which they're willing to give money away for. Developers going into mixed reality, which they're willing to give money away for. Or you see developers doing free-to-play games like that target Gen Alpha. Business. It just... I know we hate it, but that's you. Gen Alpha eats it up. Gen Alpha could care less about like Half-Life Alyx because they're never going to, like for the next 10 years, they're not going to own a high-end PC. They're just going to get, it's too expensive, it's stupid, I need a cable or something like that. So it's a money thing, it's a business thing, it is what it is. So I've learned to acknowledge that and accept that and understand where VR is, and like learn, try and help developers and publishers learn how we can meet in the middle, how we would get a product that we all like, you know, that is going to make me happy, is going to make Gen Alpha happy. It's going to make them money. So, you know, we all walk away happy. And it's not, unfortunately, more Batman and more Half-Life Alyx. We learning? Are we learning? Because that's the plan. We're supposed to learn. I hope so. Sometimes the obvious thing is the right thing. That is true too. Okay, let's see. Hey, again, reminder, guys. I know there's a lot of new people in chat today. I'm really happy you guys are here. At Mateo311 if you got questions, because I can't. The chat isn't too fast now, but there is a lot of cross chat, and my eyes are going. I'm old or something, and I'm just tired. Let's see. Yeah, but you can write off your game purchases. I can. That is true. That's a true statement. Let's see. Okay. I'm 46. Okay. I'm 46. Talking old. I'm right next to you, brother. We think alike. Yeah. I'm just waiting for functional lenses for MR, augmented reality. So, which has been a thing forever in French. Yeah. Have you seen any news about that? I haven't seen like anything small form factor for mixed reality. I mean, obviously we know that's what Meta's aiming for with the Orion. The Orion is a badass proof of concept, but right now that thing costs like $10,000 to manufacture. So they will learn new manufacturing techniques, new materials to use. The price will come down. But we got years on that. So we're not going to have like put on glasses and see a whole new world out of nowhere type deal for a while. But we're slowly getting there. Let's see. Would be so much cheaper making a VR version in tandem to a new game development. But alas, we pray every day. So, okay. I think there is an avenue for that right now. I'm happy with what like Flat the VR Studios is doing. And it is definitely much cheaper. But a lot of studios go, okay, 95% of our profit is going to come from the flat side. So why should we even bother giving effort to the VR side? And that's what happens. And I think Sony gave the Resident Evil 4 remake on PlayStation VR 2. I think they gave them $5 million for that port. So they gave them, and I'll be honest with you, numbers wise, I don't know if that was a worthy investment. I mean, did they make money? I'm sure they did. Would they have made more money if they put $5 million somewhere else? Most likely. And again, we're back to business. So PlayStation goes, well, or Sony goes, well, why give $5 million over there and get $1 million return when we could put $5 million over here and get a $2 million return? And they're a business. I hate that I have to keep coming back to this, but this is how shit works. And if you don't play the game and follow these rules, you end up broke and out of business. Let's see. Okay. Hey, because of your video, the cons of MetaQuest 3 and 3S got a 128 gigabyte yesterday. Okay. I hope you're happy with that decision. I mean, 128 gigabytes, if you're playing like 1,000, like a lot of the bigger games, you're going to have to uninstall and reinstall some games here and there, which might be a little frustrating. But, I mean, the benefits over the 3 and 3S, it's tough to say. Like, I do recommend the 3S to some people for sure. The colors are actually slightly better on the 3S because it's using an old school Fresnel lens and not the Pancake, which limits the amount of light that goes through. But Pancake lens is so like edge to edge clear. It's fantastic. So I'm hoping I helped you with your decision making. Thoughts on your game that's coming out that is like Battlefield. So the game is Forefront from Triangle Factory. They made Hyper Dash, which is one of my all-time favorite VR shooters, and Breachers, which was not my style as much, but Breachers is awesome. High hopes. Very high hopes. Their studio's awesome. I did see them at GDC. So their studio is awesome. If anyone could pull it off, it's them. And I think it's going to be badass. What's your dream list on Flat the VR Studios? Hands down, Titanfall 2. Just hands down. Like, no questions asked. My number one is Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2, when it released, was in this... EA released it against another one of their high, popularity games at the same time. Can't remember which one at the time. They released it against one of their other games, which was so bizarre. And it had like a really shitty marketing campaign and did horrible and pretty much killed the franchise. Well, not pretty much, killed the franchise. And then, like, before you know it, 6 months later, it was on sale for $7 and I picked it up, and it is unbelievably good. One of the best single player campaigns I've played in the last 20 years. It is fantastic. And the multiplayer is badass too. So, and I've always said, like, we need a mech game in VR. Yes, there's Iron Rebellion, there's Vox Machina, but just think of the scope and scale of Titanfall 2. Yeah. The second I heard Respawn was making a game with Oculus Studios back in the day, I thought Titanfall, I was pumped. It didn't happen. So that's why I've been thinking about it ever since. All right. Let's see. Can I throw my 2 cents in as a disabled U.S. Army veteran? Of course you can. You can throw your 2 cents in. You get extra bonus points credits as a retired veteran. Disabled veteran. But anyone can throw in their 2 cents here, and I appreciate to hear it. I actually love hearing a contradicting opinion because it gets me to think more. It gets me out of my bubble, and you never want to. If you think you're always right, you're really wrong. So let's see. Team Fortress 2, 10 out of 10 game. That would be awesome. It's just crazy. I look like I'm in my 30s. It's 50s where you really start to age. I feel it, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm in my 40s. Approaching the middle point, and it hurts sometimes. I mean, but I think it's sleep above all else, because when I was in San Francisco, man, I slept like a baby and I felt 1,000 times better. Now I just want to shoot myself and go to bed right now. Let's see. Redemption, yeah, like Red Dead Redemption, people love that. That'd be kick-ass too. Like, some of these games though might not translate as well. I really loved playing a Cyberpunk 2077 in VR, but the fact that it's not made for VR is so ridiculously apparent that I would say it's not playable. What's your opinion on the limited controller options for Lighthouse devices? Jay, I don't have much of an opinion there. I mean, I just feel like Lighthouse is not needed anymore. It just sucks, the fact that it's too cumbersome for people to set up. It adds a crazy extra expense. What are the Lighthouses still like 100 or 150 each? Something wild. So I mean, I just feel like the fact that there's not many options is just a sign of the times. It's not practical. Better doesn't always mean best, which is the oddest thing to say, because you have to factor in, is the product, can you sell the product? So there's been a lot of products in history that were superior, like gave better visuals or just whatever characteristics, held more information when we're talking about storage devices, stuff like that. But they lost because either they didn't have the right backing or they just wouldn't sell. What was the movie with Will Smith about, where he spent all his money buying a device that is better than the X-ray machine, but he didn't and it's the newest technology and everyone was pumped about it, but he didn't factor in the fact that doctor's office wouldn't be willing to spend so much more money for a scan that's just better. They didn't need a scan that's just better. Even though it's better, it's undeniably better. They don't really need better. What they have is fine. Anyway. What are your thoughts on... Okay, what are your thoughts on getting base stations down in the future? I think I kind of just jumped into that. I mean, unless you really have a need for a base station based headset, like a Big Screen Beyond 2, and you full body tracking, it's niche. It's very niche. Let's see. And lighthouses. Okay. So you can't see any of my lighthouses. None of them are visible right now. Hold on. So lighthouses were this form of technology back in the day that it was outside in tracking. So we used to have these base stations, and then they would use infrared signals, I think they do, and they would detect, like, yeah, it was infrared. So your headset has like all these infrared dots, similar to what Quest is doing right now, but they're using just like regular cameras for it. And you've had these emitters, and they're detecting where the devices are, and they're relaying that information back. So it has extremely accurate position tracking. So if you have a controller, you could put it behind your back. You could, like put it on top of your head. You don't need a camera tracking it like this does right now. This has cameras on the front, and they track your controller. So it's more accurate, and it has more advantages, but it's just insanely expensive. And you have to plug these things in your wall. You cannot play outside of this room. So it's too limited. Yeah, Sega Dreamcast was a good example of what I was rambling on about before. Pursuit of Happiness was the movie. Thank you, my dude. We need Phasmophobia on Quest. I'm with you on that. Phasmophobia is insane. Yeah, the camera's my best friend. It uses Mora correction waves to track. Okay. Yeah, I never really looked into the technology. I know, like, if you like take a picture, you can actually see the emitters in there. You can't see them visibly right now, but if you take a picture, at least on the old base station, that's actually one way to check if your base station was damaged. You just snap a picture, and it would show the emitters operating. And if any of them were dim, you would know your base station was broke. But yeah, so it's a different type of technology altogether rather than camera-based tracking. So camera-based, inside out, outside in. It's just not practical. So I'm getting close to winding up the stream. So get your last questions in if you guys got them, and we will get popping. No, so someone messaged me directly, said you were going to have a hard bullet video on Monday. No, I'm not going to have a hard bullet, and this is a direct message that came to me. Dread, I'm not gonna have a hard bullet video on Monday. No, I'm gonna mention it in the news on Monday. Someone asked me if I was aware of it, and I'm just gonna mention it in the news. I'm not gonna have a video coming. We're all good. We're all good. Yeah, see, yeah, most people who still have base stations started in HTC Vive because they were mandatory back in the day. And then a lot of people got them for their Valve Index with the updated base station 2.0s, which I actually have 3 in my room because my room's got, this room is 22 by 12 feet, and it has like the angle around it. So like if I was going to sit on my couch, I might not be detected by both base stations. So I just added a third one in the middle. Let's see. Do you have any recommendations for any full body systems, or plan on a review any? It's not my forte. I have used full body tracking. I've used the slime, and it's so funny because I made a full suit, which actually looks like a mocap suit. Ended up being a little bit too tight, and like you can see my balls when I put the suit on, so I have to wear shorts over it. But that's one benefit of the slime. Can't believe I just said that out loud. One benefit of the slime trackers is the fact that they're not using like infrared, or they don't need line of sight, so it's not camera based. They were using like Wi-Fi positioning. They're pretty practical and they're pretty accurate, but they're rough to set up and they drift over time. So slime was eh. And then the only really other option out there, you have the Tundra trackers and the HTC trackers. But You know, you got to set up your base stations. You got to do that. HTC does have camera-based trackers that work kind of like Slime. I've never used them, so I couldn't say. So unfortunately, yeah, full testicle. Yeah, actually, I made sure that my avatar had jiggle, you know, just jiggle physics. Rather than putting 1 and 2 trackers on my boobs, I just put them right on my junk. And since I'm an old man, you'd see them bouncing around my knees. Perfect. That's what everyone wants to see. As they say in church, you could see my junk. So they do have ankle trackers. So like when I played VR Kung Fu, the video is super old. But if you go look up my VR Kung Fu video, I do put on the full system. I do put on ankle trackers. I do put on the waist trackers, wrist tracker. Well, the wrists are tracked by your controllers. And I run around this room kicking everything. I kicked my original PlayStation 1 across the room. Like literally just because I used to do martial arts. And I kicked it right across the room because my room's too narrow to start throwing kicks around like a madman. So VR Kung Fu, I busted my knuckle, this beam right here. I just slammed it full force. I busted my knuckle. I bled everywhere because I slammed it and I kept playing. Like after the pain stopped, I just kept playing. So I didn't realize my knuckle was split and I'm just throwing punches. And every time I throw punches, this little blood splatter going all over the room. So when I eventually take over the headset, my couch has got blood over it. My walls got blood on it. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, what happened down here? So Deckard confirmed is still 100% valid. A BS, just so you know. Now, I could recap and kind of some of the things we discussed before we end the video, but yeah, I'll do that. So let's see. Do you think there's any outstanding VR game design avenues that are yet to be explored or unique genre? Yes, Ed. And I don't want to talk about it much because it's so early, but I'm working on something. I'm working on I'm not a developer, even though I went to school for programming. I'm not a developer, but I'm working on something, and I think there's some unexplored potential. However, you never really know what's gonna jive with people. All right, let's see. So, all right. So I'll end up with the Deckard stuff, and there's not a lot to. There's nothing to reveal. I will say, and I've said this in a video on Chris. I put a video on RoboQuest out, and I actually did a short yesterday too. But I'll comment on that, and then we'll wrap it up today. Valve Deckard is 1,000% a real physical product. It's a real physical product. It's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when. My expectations are we'll get an announcement within the next 1 to 3 months, and we'll get a release towards the end of the year. Those are my expectations. That, don't quote me on, that is not inside information. No one is giving me those numbers, just based on production timelines and, you know, a lot of stuff that we've seen come down the pipeline from Bradley and some other stuff going on in the industry that I can't comment on. Based on those things, that's my expectation. An announcement will be pretty soon, a release by the end of the year. It's my expectation. Now, if I knew any more information than that, I'm not sharing it because this is a massive product from a company I absolutely love and respect. And there's probably God knows how many people working on the marketing and the launch and the release of this product. And I would not do anything to jeopardize it for them. It's like a big FU to them. Like all their hard work, they want to present it. It's their baby. They want to present it in their way. They want to show it off. They want to deliver the specs to you in the right manner. Like say there's a weird spec that everyone like scratches their head about. Like why'd they choose this? But in their launch material, they talk about why it's the right option. Well, you know, you kind of just ruin the whole story for them. So I would, and that's not a true example. I'm just making stuff up right now. So I'm just saying I would never ruin that for them. There's too much love and respect. That's just, all that does is hurt the industry kind of. And what would I do it for? Like, you know, oh, you know, like I'm clout, you know, like views. No, that's, I mean, listen, I'm happy where I am with the channel. I don't need to do any clickbait bullshit nonsense. I don't need to be, you know, inside information or first type of stuff. I'm in this industry because I love it, want to see it grow, and I believe in it. So you're not going to get much more information out of me, but I want to give you guys hope and let you know it's 100% real. You cannot convince me otherwise because you can't. So that's as much as I could say about the Deckard. As far as RoboQuest, looked great. And everyone's so like, oh, it's not done. It's got this issue. It's got that. Don't show that. Don't talk about that. Let me tell you, there's so much VR shit I've played. In its current state, months away from release, it's looking badass already. It looks great. It ran great. And any little issue that they think is still in there, I'm sure they'll work out. It was badass. So RoboQuest, solid. And I know the people who, like, I know a lot, I never played it flat. I know a lot of people played it flat were just like, oh yeah, this is great. Oh yeah, this feels better than flat, or I feel right at home. So boom. Let's see. So was there anything else? Did I get a peek or something? BS, like I said, I can't say. No, but I didn't. I didn't. You know what? I'm just going to say no to everything from now on. I could have one in my backpack and I'm going to say no from now on. I don't, but I wish I did. All right, let's see. Do we know for sure that the Deckard will be wireless? I'm fairly confident. So, excuse me. At this point, like, no one can hide anything. And the leaks and rumors are like usually always dead on. And if we go into leak rumor territory, it is going to come with a wireless adapter for PCVR, which most likely uses Wi-Fi 6E. It's going to come with a wireless adapter, and it will be a wireless headset with standalone capabilities. So wireless dongle to connect it to your PC. Knowing Valve and knowing how much, like, you know, they're in tune with the industry, they would either deliver it with or sell a third-party adapter for the direct DisplayPort connection. Again, this is speculation. This is nothing that I know of. That's just my expectation from Valve, knowing how in tune they are. And like the sim people want no compression and lowest latency. And my expectation is we're getting the combination of like a new end Valve Index, as far as the internals of a Valve Index, all updated, smashed together with a Steam Deck. Because I know it's going to have an emphasis on playing flat games too. Because if you look at the controllers, they match what you see in more traditionally in flat screen gaming. And that's it, guys. That's it. I ain't got no more to say. I'm tired. I hope you guys enjoyed this. That was my stream for today. There is Streamlabs right on time, guys. You want to help support me? Streamlabs has a link of all like the game sales and deals and all my affiliates in there. So if you're looking for something like a Kiwi strap, which I highly recommend, there's a link there. They're not all affiliate links. Some are just deals. Some are affiliate links. Some are MetaQuest friend links, so you just get a discount, and I don't get I think I get a store credit. So, and like I said, you know, just I'm trying to help you guys out, find some deals, and then at the same time, you know, it works in my favor too, because I get a little kickback. So if that's what you're interested in, go check that out. And yeah, I don't got much more to say. Will it have the CPU? Will it have a CPU? Not like, I'm expecting like a Zen 4 architecture, but again, that's just pure speculation. So it's going to be more processing power than a Steam Deck, but how much can you really fit in a form factor like that? But that's it. That's it. I got nothing else. All right, guys. That's it. That was today's stream. I don't have Present VR. That's it. I'm ending the stream, guys. Thank you. Wait. I just want to say thank you. Without your support, I can't do what I do. I love doing what I do. I always wanted to work in the gaming industry. You know, I'm moving more and more in that direction and getting to know more and more people. I love VR. I believe in the technology. But again, I want to be able to do this without you guys. Your support means everything to me. It makes this channel possible. And if you appreciate that, click the thumbs up right now. Leave comments on my channel. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. It is absolutely insane how many people watch my channel that are not subscribed. So click that. Thank you guys for the support. Love you guys. You're awesome. I see Swedish there. Talk. Okay. Ja verstehe, Svenska. Ja verstehe. Du Svens? That's all I got. I got nothing else in Swedish. That's it. Bye, guys. I'll see you guys on next time. And I got an outro. And that was today's stream, guys. Thank you so much. I wouldn't be here without you. You guys mean the world to me. I hope I did a good job answering all of your questions. And if you want to help support me, the easiest ways are always to leave a comment, throw a thumbs up, subscribe, or if you're one of those crazy people who likes to burn money on me, why not use one of my affiliate links for a discount on some accessories? Maybe become a Patreon or YouTube member. And finally, I have a merch shop with items that no one has ever bought before. Again, thanks for hanging out, guys. And of course, I'll see you on next time. And that was today's stream, guys. Thank you so much. I wouldn't be here without you. You guys mean the world to me. I hope I did a good job answering all of your questions. And if you want to help support me, the easiest ways are always to leave a comment, throw a thumbs up, subscribe, or if you're one of those crazy people who likes to burn money on me, why not use one of my affiliate links for a discount on some accessories? Maybe become a Patreon or YouTube member. And finally, I have a merch shop with items that no one has ever bought before. Again, thanks for hanging out, guys. And of course, I'll see you on next time.